Welcome to the Insurance Wise Guys podcast. My name is Mike Lewis, insurance agency owner of Archibald & Lewis Insurance and your insurance wise guy. On today's episode of Know, Like, and Trust, we have Sam Haiflich. All right, everyone, help me welcome Sam Haiflich. Sam has been married to his wonderful wife, Lisa, for 18 years. They have 3 great children and even 2 spoiled grandkids. Sam is on the local MLS Board of Directors, sits on the Norwell Ag Advisory Board, board member for Family Centered Services, and a 4-year veteran, the Board of Directors for the Wells County Chamber of Commerce. He's a multi-million-dollar producing, managing broker for BKM Real Estate and an auctioneer for Krukerberg Auctions, a leader in the county and a great American. Sam, how's it going?
It's going great, Mike.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
Yep. So turn back the clock with me just a little bit. It's 1998. You're 12 at that point?
Pretty close,
12.
Yeah.
And you are just starting your career out. So talk to me about that. How did you get involved in real estate and what led you there?
Well, I really got in this business by accident. In 1998, my father sold out of farming. I had just started college. I was going to what it was then IPFW. And Summers Brothers, which was an auction and real estate company that was in Ossian. They conducted my father's farm auction. And Roger Summers asked me whether I was looking for a part-time job. Wanted some help setting up auctions and things like that. You know, what college kid doesn't need a part-time job? So that's how it all began. I started setting up sales. Then I started working auctions, working the ring as a ring person at the auctions, and then I traveled out to Iowa to the Worldwide College of Auctioneering and got my auction license, and then went on to get my real estate license. Back then you got a salesperson's license. You had to hold that for, I think it was a year or 2 years, and then you could go back for your broker's license. So then a few years down the road, then I got my broker's license as well. So really by accident. If you would have told me when I was in high school that, Sam, someday you're going to be a realtor and an auctioneer, I would have said, there's no way.
Yeah.
That wasn't even on my scope of things to do. But
Well, it impressed all the ladies at that point.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So you went to Iowa for auctioneering school?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Back then, that was probably the leading school. Some of the instructors, maybe some of you might recognize the name of Spanky Astor. Spanky Astor was one of the instructors out there. He's one of the renowned car auctioneers in the country. Just a very, very good school. It was a fast track program. We would go from like 7 o'clock at night, or 7 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock at night. And they jammed a lot of information in a short amount of time instead of doing it over a longer period. So
Summers Brothers Auctioneers, that was your first venture into this world, right?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
So from there, you got an auctioneer's license, fell in love with that part of it. Real estate sales agent was only natural to go forward from there. And that's 1998. So even jumping forward, I'm sure that's how you started. But a decade later, 2008, the world's starting to melt down. Mortgage crisis, homes being foreclosed on. How did that affect auctioneer and real estate sales at that time?
Oh, it definitely. You definitely seen a reduction in home sales. There was numerous foreclosures, and we were in a recession. And I remember years ago when I first got in the business, an old realtor that had been in the business a long time, he said, "Sam, you will know that you've made it in the business if you can survive a recession." Mm-hmm. And you just have to change your strategy. maybe just work a little bit harder. Deals aren't as easy to come by during a recession, but there's still people that need to move. There's still life-changing events that cause people to want to buy or sell property.
So you made it through that recession. Obviously, you'd been in the business for 10 years already. Now, flash forward to this year, it's almost as if another recession or problem came to the world. How did you make it through both of those events? I mean, that's two events already in your career that you've went through.
Well, I think one thing that I had on my side is, again, an old realtor told me when I first got in, if you can make it 5 years, you have to build up your clientele, build up your referral base, and I had been in the business long enough where my business comes from repeat business and referral business from clients. And so in times like a recession or a time like now where there's not a lot of listings, there's a shortage of homes on the market, you really got to, count on, your name recognition, your referrals and past clients and repeat customers.
So, yeah, obviously you had time in many years at both of these points. So that helped you get through that. If you could narrow that down, if you could pick one thing in your line of work that you would have done differently or did sooner that would have or did make a difference in your business, what would that be? One thing that you wish someone would have told you earlier, a mentor would have told you earlier.
I don't know that this is something that somebody would have told me, but one thing that I think that has really helped my business is a few years ago, I talked my wife Lisa into getting her real estate license. And we formed a team. So we co-list all our listings. We're the only team based here in Wells County that basically you get, what I tell my clients is you're getting 2 for 1.
Right.
So in this market where things are selling so fast that you have to get your clients in these houses as soon as they come on the market, it gives us so much more flexibility that if I'm busy and I've got other appointments, Lisa can step in and she can go and show the houses, or she can go to a closing while I'm out showing houses, or vice versa. And it's just made us a lot more flexible, a lot more available to our clients.
So I see that you're a busy person, very successful in this profession for sure. And I see lots of people saying, "Oh, I'm so busy, I can't get anything done." That sounds to me like that's part of how you're balancing your job, your work, all of these things that you're available to and helping out in the community because you have a team. That's how you're balancing in that.
Yeah, and I mean, this community has been good to me. I'm a blessed individual, and I think it's very important to give back to the community. So yes, I am involved in quite a few things as you listed. Sounds like a lot when you read it off, Mike, but yeah, it is. But I enjoy that, and I think that those things are important. I think it is important to give back to the community that's been so good to you.
So, long time real estate professional, auctioneer. This year again has hit a lot of people hard. How has this year treated you so far, and what do you think about the market in general?
Well, we've had a good year. I've had a great year in the real estate business and the auction business. With Krukenberg Auction Company and BCAM Real Estate, we really have a good team. Josh Krukenberg, who owns BKM Real Estate and Krukenberg Auction Company. When we first made a deal to go with Krukenberg, Josh said, "Sam, we will be stronger together," and we are stronger together. We have just so many tools in our toolbox, what I call tools in our toolbox, that allows us to do a lot of different things. We're a diverse company. We do equipment auctions. We have a auction house over in Decatur, so we can take personal property items over there. If you're selling your home and say, there's 4 or 5 pieces that is not going to fit in your new home, or you just don't want to take those, we can take them over there and sell them for you. We have a guy that specializes in online auctions, so we do a lot of online auctions. We do a lot of auctions that are simultaneous, where we're doing it live and online. A lot of our equipment sales are that way, and we just have a great team. We have a great support staff. As far as our administrative assistants and things like that, our office managers, they just do an outstanding job, not only in the real estate, but especially in the auction business.
I've heard a lot of great things about Josh in particular, and the innovative things that he is doing for this area, for the business, for his agents. Online auctions, that's something very new, and that's something that I would think has really been a blessing this year in particular.
Yeah, and it's amazing. One of the first ones when this whole pandemic came out that we did, I told the clients, I said, I'm going to be honest with you, this is going to go very well or it's going to go very poor, because it's either that, a lot of people are sitting at home. It was just when, they were starting to close everything down, and, so there was just so much uncertainty of, okay, are they going to still be spending money, or are they going to be, basically, sitting back and saying, hey, we got to tighten our belt straps here. We can't be spending money. And, our online auctions have just done phenomenal. And again, I credit that to our marketing team. I credit that just to the team that we got assembled. Josh Krukenberg has put just an awesome team together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what it takes to be successful, is to adjust to the conditions that surround you and go forward, keep moving forward for sure. Let's talk about auctioneering specifically. Now, I know you're an auctioneer, and I know you're the managing broker of real estate at BKM, but why would someone choose to auction their house off versus a traditional real estate sale? I mean, which one is a better choice?
Well, I think there's a multiple different reasons why you would choose that option. One would be in today's market, real estate, it's like anything else. It's supply and demand. There is high demand, low supply. And so that just breeds for the auction business. You auction your house, you are inviting competitive bidding on a property, where if I list a house, I set a price, and we ask for offers. And an auction, it could go way over appraised value, and that happens. So that would be one example. The other example would be estates, things like that somebody has died, and the family just needs to liquidate the estate's assets. I've sold for people that they've moved. Their job has transferred them out of the area. And they don't want, typically, now we're in a different market where things are selling really, really fast. But, years ago, it was not uncommon to have a listing for a month, maybe 2 months or whatever.
I remember that.
And so at an auction, you know the date it's going to sell. You still have the opportunity to accept or reject the final bid. So if it doesn't bring enough money, you don't have to accept that unless you are selling it absolute without reserve. You still are in control of whether you accept the final bid or the sales price, basically.
So you just mentioned that years ago it wasn't uncommon for a house to be on the market for a month or more at a time. What would you say to someone right now that wants to sell their home themselves? They see all these homes selling days or weeks after it's been listed, and they think, hey, I'm just going to do that myself. I want to keep that money in house here. What's your thoughts on that? What benefits do you think you can bring to that seller as a real estate professional?
Well, and it's funny because just the other day we were having a conversation, and I think I told you, Mike, that probably one of the biggest compliments I've got in my years in the business is I've had the opportunity to represent numerous attorneys. Mm-hmm. I've had people that want to sell their house for sale by owner, and they say, hey, I'll just go to my attorney and have him prepare the contract.
I've heard that. Yeah, absolutely.
And, like these attorneys have said over the years that I've represented, we're attorneys. We're not real estate agents. We don't specialize in buying and selling real estate. And so they've entrusted me to do some of their personal and some of their business transactions. So I just think it says, if an attorney isn't, if he understands the value of a realtor. The other thing is it's not just, it's the whole process. Yes, can you go online? Can you find a contract and have everybody sign it? But do you know what you're signing? Mm-hmm. Do you know what you're agreeing to? So many times I've talked to title companies or lenders, and when they've got a for sale by owner, when they sit down before they go to closing, they go over their cost, and one or the other party says, well, we didn't agree to that. We said that we were going to do this. Mm-hmm. Well, and they say, well, that's not what's on this document. That's not what's on the contract. So, they're filling out blanks on a contract that they really don't understand. And there's more to it. There's more than just getting a purchase price. There's seeing it through to an appraisal, being able, there's been times, just being able to go to bat for your client and say, we believe that this price is justified, and here's the comps that we use to do that. Or just like in inspections, a lot of times, when you get inspections, when it's a for sale by owner, they're lost. They don't have the paperwork to the inspection addendums and things like that to see through for an inspection. I've seen it time and time again. I just had an appraiser call me the other day and said, Sam, I just got a request to do an appraisal for a house that was, $50,000 over what it was worth, but a for sale by owner got a buyer to accept that, and he's like, there's no way I can make this work. It's just not going to work. So the general public just doesn't know what values are. Mm-hmm. So that's where you have to rely on a realtor or a real estate professional that knows the market, that knows what properties are worth.
So knowing the market, there's another, for instance, maybe I'm selling my house myself and I assume that I can get $130,000. But you can come in and say, Mike, I could have got you $150,000 for that house.
Mike, a few years ago I had that happen. I had a gentleman call me and he said, hey Sam, he said, I was going to call you. He said, but over the weekend I just put out a for sale by owner sign, and somebody came and they said that they wanted to buy my house. And he said, now I don't know what to do. What do I do? So I went and looked at it, and he told me the price that he had accepted verbally with the people. And I said, oh, you undersold your house probably by about $30,000 to $50,000. Wow. And, but I will get, I mean, he said, I'm a man of my word. I verbally told them that I agreed to that price, so that's what I was going to do. So yeah, it can happen both ways. It can either be a buyer pays way too much, or it can be that a seller shortcuts himself by just not knowing the market and knowing what properties are worth.
So that's real money left on the table. It's being a real estate agent is not just checking a box off. It's really being a trusted advisor, knowing how to advise that person. Hey, this time you do need a survey. This time you don't need a survey. Make sure that they pay last year's property taxes so that you're not surprised with $2,000 more at closing. There's a lot to those contracts, and that comes with experience.
Oh, absolutely, Mike. And it's, what I tell all my clients, and I always tell them that it is my job to give you information so you can make an educated decision. And ultimately, at the end, it's their decision.
It's their decision.
Yeah. But it's my job to point out things or tell them my professional opinion of how I would go about the transaction. And if they choose, if they say, no, Sam, we want to do this or we want to do that, obviously, yes, they're my clients. I'm going to do what they tell me and work as hard as I can to produce the results that they're desiring.
You're going to go to bat for whatever they ultimately choose to do. Okay, tell people how to get a hold of you. How would they want to get a hold of you and list their house?
Well, if they wanted to get a hold of me, you can call my cell phone at 740-7299 or Lisa's cell phone at 438-2437. You can visit our Facebook page, Sam at BKM Real Estate, or you can check us out at bkmrealestate.com, or call one of our offices. So.
Thanks, Sam. Before we go, I know you prefer to sell homes and farms and properties, but would you use your auctioneering skills and sell me this pin?
Well, geez, that's an expensive pin. That's an Archibald Lewis. I heard those are worth quite a bit of money. All right, well, here we go. And here we go. And you got to buy the pin right here. And how many dollars here? And here we go. And you got to buy it here. And 5, here, and 5, 10, 10, 10, 15, 15. I got 10 here and 15, 10, 15. Sold it, $10.
Sold. Sam Haiflich. If you want your house sold, Sam's your man.